This is Cincinnati, one of the three big cities in Ohio. And today I am going to take you through Cincinnati's waterfront. It is one of the best this side of the Mississippi. Let's take a look. The Cincinnati River and the aptly named Queen of the River. You can take a sunset cruise with food, drink, and music. It is not the most rambunctious affair, but it is fun to sail down the river with good music, maybe a dance or two, good drink, probably excellent views of the sunset on a cloudless day. I mean, what more could anyone ask for? And that's not the only water traffic that plies these waters. There are merchants of various goods and produce that use this water as a means of transport because it is cheap to move large quantities of goods, especially bulky goods, on water. As you can see, it doesn't cost as much as it would to take all these by road. And of course, this is only for short distances, not very long because of rapids and such that are not navigable. Unknown to many, on the western end of Cincinnati is a ferry. I took a ride in the ferry and it is not expensive at all. It takes all of $7, maybe $10 to cross and all of about 15 minutes to cross. It is not used by a lot of traffic, I assume because it's not the biggest ferry that you've ever seen, but also because it doesn't take haste in crossing the river. And because there are bridges just down the road from here, and people are always in a hurry, they will probably prefer that as a means of crossing from the banks in Ohio to the banks in Kentucky. But I found it fun. I enjoyed the water and the lazy, almost like a stroll on the water. Now, we are not Jesus, we're not walking on the water, but it almost feels like it because you can stretch and touch it, and it is going at all of 3, maybe 2 knots to cross the river. On the other side, there was waiting traffic. Again, not a whole lot of it, but it was a pleasant experience on a lazy weekday afternoon. It is open all week, Monday through Monday. It runs until 9 p.m. There isn't much in the way of traffic, so you likely will not have to wait. And even if you were to wait, it's novelty experience, one that you're not likely to experience anywhere else within this city. So take the ferry, check it out. Heading east from the ferry, we hit first the football stadium, and then right next to the football stadium is a music venue. Cincinnati seems very much geared towards culture and entertainment, and this venue is the proof. And so I spend a few minutes here twisting this way and turning that way and dancing quite a bit. Walked up a sweat and walked down the stairs. The gardens are thriving, as you can see. I'm not sure what sort of flowers these are, but it more importantly speaks to the dedication of the city and the staff and all the folks that are involving in maintaining these in pristine conditions all year round. And I keep walking via a bit to the left, and this is where I am. This is the best spot to grab a cold beer and watch the World Cup, or just sit and watch people being human beings. Right across from where I am is the Great American Ballpark, where the Reds play baseball, and down the road from here is the riverfront, which is where I am heading right now. As the time says, it's time to check out the water. But before I go down to the river, I found a few water fountains here that I want to show you. There is something about water fountains that speaks to all of us. But first, a topographical representation of the journey that I am about to take you on. I thought it was rather nice. And of course, there is Dora. Every time you see that sign, it means you either can drink or you cannot drink, one or the other. The water fountains. These ones are designed to get you outdoors. But for me, I prefer to just sit and watch the water. On a rare occasion, I'll close my eyes and listen to the sound of the droplets as they smash into the cold, hard concrete. There is something calming about it, and I suppose it explains our fascination with waterfalls. It's not just the shape or the beauty of it, it is the sound as well. There is an aspect of dulling the senses, making you rather occupied with hearing and sensing, to the detriment of your worries for the day. This last fountain is a tribute to the Erie Canal, which ran from Cincinnati to Cleveland, and it was constructed in the 1820s to the cost of $8 million. Here we are at the western end of this rather long boardwalk next to the Ohio River. It is very well planned with multiple parks connecting with each other over a distance of, I am going to estimate, just over 1 mile, maybe longer. There are multiple walkable bridges that cross from Ohio to Kentucky. I am actually going to do a video on them because I would have made this video rather long if I were to include them on here. That's how exhaustively well designed and detailed they are. But they do span the entire length of the river, as bridges usually do, and you can walk from Ohio to Kentucky rather leisurely, enjoy the water below you and the scenery. The International Friendship Park, with flags from lots of international countries, as well as the Star Spangled Banner. This is the entrance to the Purple Bridge from the park and the boardwalk, and it's rather hidden. If you've ever taken it, you know what I'm talking about. It has a few different and rather interesting views looking down from up there. There is a rather old walkway, what appears to be a bridge, but it's not really a bridge. It's a tunnel, but it's not really a tunnel. It's an interesting structure that I found rather fascinating because of the bridge and the fact that it leaks water. This is Cincinnati's, a creation of a very creative man. Cincinnati gets its name from the city, the different ethnicities and groups within the city of Cincinnati that have significant populations and whose culture and origination define the city. There is this wall that has no functional purpose, but it is pockmarked with dents from centuries past, and it has character. It sort of reminds me of the power of chance, the randomness of life. For example, you could have been doing any of a dozen things right now, but you're watching this and you're listening to me. That is about as random happens, regardless of how you got here to this very moment, this very second. That is the power of chance. But we shall revisit the concept of chance and randomness at a later date. For now, let's keep exploring this waterfront boardwalk trail combination that is a tad bit eccentric and appears to have a riddle or two from within. We are now walking through the Garden of Africa, and it is designed with interlacing paths and walkways and connecting gardens that have a diversity of grasses and flowers that I cannot say with certainty that they actually represent Africa or not, but it connects directly to other gardens representing other regions, although the design remains the same. The concept here is friendship, acceptance, and of course, the embrace of diversity. Something that I am discovering bit by bit is the interwoven and interlaced concepts of art and its purpose and aim of creating awareness about certain issues within society in a way that is very impactful without being the loudest voice in the room, which in most instances, when you are the loudest voice in the room, you tend to incite and inspire opposition. But art is silent and yet extremely loud at the same time. The paradox of its delivery of very important messages is perhaps lost on some, but luckily, fortunately, it is growing on me.